Hello everyone. So till now we had gone through following topics. So we covered data, uh, then we talked about statistics, then we talked about probability, right? Now, so in statistics, till now we were discussing about, we discussed about descriptive analytics, descriptive statistics, right? And then we have inferential statistics. Okay. So, and in probability, uh, we had seen three types of probabilities: marginal, joint, and conditional, right? And then we also talked about Bayes' theorem, right? So today we'll continue with inferential statistics. Okay. So yeah. So talking about inferential statistics, right? So so last time I had taken an example that inferential statistics is something which you predict, right? Uh, or you infer from the data, right? So uh, inferential statistics, like that was an application of inferential statistics, but you can think of inferential statistics as uh, inferential statistics to be used to uh, calculate to calculate parameters or to calculate measures, right, of population, right, of population from sample, right? So so uh, suppose this is my total population, right? And I take a sample out of it. So this is complete population, and of this population I took this particular sample, right? And based on based on this calculations of the sample, based on measurement of these samples, can I derive measurements based on the measures of sample, can I derive the measures of population? Okay. So that is what we meant by inferential statistics. So basically, uh, inferential statistics is used to calculate uh, or to make inferences about the population based on sample data, right? So maybe I can write it here. So inferential statistics is used to make inferences about the population based on samples. Okay. So what could be an example of this? So suppose like in a manufacturing industry, uh, right? Uh, you are manufacturing, uh, let's say, like basically, let's say you are manufacturing a small part of which will be used in machinery. Like for example, screw, nails, right? Nail. So basically what you have to do is so suppose like these are nails for uh, rockets, right? Now this nails should be of perfect size, right? So but you will be calculating, let's say you will be calculating uh, sorry, you will be manufacturing millions of these nails, right? Millions of nails, right? So you can't test all of these million nails, right? So what you will do, so basically you'll consider this to be a population, right? And what you will do, so out of this population you'll get some samples. So let's say if it is millions of nails, you calculate 1,000 samples, right? On this thousands of these 1,000 samples, you will say like you tested diameters, right? And uh, you can say that like if uh, like you can decide on based on this sample, if the sample is let's say if it is having a uh, uh, 50 nails which are wrong out of 1,000, right? So basically which means that 5% of the nails uh, uh, are are faulty, then you will reject the whole population. Okay. But if out of 1,000 uh, 5 or let's say 10 nails are faulty, right? So which means it is like 1% of the nails are faulty, and maybe like this is something which is acceptable to us, right? So we'll accept the whole millions of nails, right? So this is how inferential statistics is useful in the industry. Now uh, coming to uh, so last time we discussed about that inferential statistics from based on inferential statistics, basically we can also provide information uh, for the like information related to the data, not exactly from the data but related to the data, right? So this information, uh, let's say we like so we were talking this to be like we were taking in one application which was like prediction, right? So like you are predicting something based on this information which is provided. Now so there are a couple of important terminologies when you do inferential statistics. So one is point estimation, right? Point estimation. So I'll say we'll talk about what is point estimation. So suppose you have a population, right? And suppose this population is of country India, right? Now from this population, as you want to do inferential statistics, right? Or you want to do, let's say you want to do predictions, right? Or you want to build some model on this population, right? So what you will do, you will take samples of this population, right? So suppose like this is the sample which I am taking, 10k 10k people from uh, all states and union territories, right? Or maybe instead of 10k, maybe I can say 1% of the population, right? 1% of 1% of people, uh, or it is population. So 1% of, let me put it here, 1% of population from each state and UT, right? So this is what I had done. Like I got from the population, like I got, sorry, so from population I took samples, and now uh, sorry, uh, just a minute. Yeah, apologies about that. So there was some issue with the pen. Yeah, so uh, now from the population, we did this random 1% sampling, right? And we got 1%, like some data out of this. Now in inferential statistics, what we do is, like, we estimate. So let's say like what I'm doing is I'm looking for what is the average percentage of people who who are susceptible to COVID-19 disease, right? So average number I will get from this sample, right? So let's say this is my average of sample, right? This average of sample I'll use to estimate the mean of population, right? So I don't know the average of population, because it will be very difficult. How you will calculate average of population? So basically you will let's say okay, let's say the problem is to find average height of Indian Indian population, right? Average height. So if I have to find average height, what I will do, I will measure heights of each person, right? 1 plus 2 plus 3, like height of P1 plus P2 plus P3, and then divide by total population. Okay, but this is not feasible, because like I have to do this for 1.3 billion people. So what I did here is I took uh, uh, heights of few people, right? uh, from each state, and basically this is a stratified sample, right? 1%, or let's say I will reduce it to even lesser, 0.01%, right? Now 0. Now all of this height of this population uh, I can calculate, and I can do summation, and I can like get an average of the sample, right? Now what is the problem? That the problem will be if the average height of your sample is representation of your population or not. Okay, so so suppose I say x bar is, let's say, 155 centimeter, right? Now uh, if I say that x bar is equals to, or it's very much equals to mu, like population mean, right? So uh, is it correct or not, right? Like is 155 centimeter is correct or not? So this is what we uh, 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 this is what we do from like this estimations is what we find with different uh, different techniques, different methods, right? So some of the methods are as follows. These methods to calculate point estimates, or to calculate estimates. So some of these methods are uh, first is moments, right? So moments is basically uh, uh, standard deviation, right? And variance, right? So all of these are standard deviation is first degree movement, variance is second degree movement, right? Covariance, variance, these are all second degree movements. So what we do, uh, uh, we see that suppose we have population, right? So we take one sample of the population, right? So basically like this is the population, entire population. We took a sample here S1, right? And for this sample we calculated different we'll calculate different movements, right? And then we'll take another sample S2 and we'll calculate these movements for S2 as well. Okay. And if like S1 and S2 are same, we can say that my variance for the, or my point estimates for population will be same as what I calculate for S1. Okay. Then there are statistical uh, techniques like maximum maximum of likelihood, right? Maximum of likelihood. So this is basically uh, let's say like I use a prediction model, right? So like, and based on my different features, right? Features could be like which state this person belongs to, what is the gender of this person, what is the age of this person, right? uh, and how are uh, eating habits, right? And based on all of this, maybe I am calculating the height of the person, right? So here, based on these different parameters, uh, uh, I can create a maximum, like basically I am using maximum of likelihood of a height for a given person, right? So and this is another way of finding out estimates for the population, right? Then third is bias estimators, right? So we talked about bias theorem. So we can use a bias theorem to calculate probability of height given B features, right? So basically probability of height, right? Or okay, like maybe a wrong example here, but let's say if we are saying that probability that height is greater than 150 or not, right? So given X parameters, what is the probability that height is more than 150, right? Right? And then there are uh, unbiased estimators, right? So basically here we can use several unbiased estimators, right? To to approximate a parameter, right? So basically for example like we use random forest, right? So like let's say we use random forest to calculate height of each person, right? So what will happen is, like, we will in random forest we'll have t1 which will be giving us value as h1, then T2 which is giving value as T2 H2, then we have T3 which is giving value as H3, right? And then finally we take average of H1 plus H2 plus H3, right? Right. So this is unbiased estimators. Okay. So these are different ways of finding the estimates. Okay. Now, so again we were talking about X bar, which is sample average, right? Let me write it. Sample average is uh, basically is similar to mu, which is population average, right? So in our previous slide, we looked into like how can we calculate this sample average, right? Or like a value to be predicted, and based on this sample averages, how we can estimate population average, right? But what we are doing here is when we do this estimation of population average, now we have to figure out whether like how well this sample average matches to population average, right? So now maybe I can give this example that when we take a random forest and we get some output, and this output will be X bar only, right? But what we are saying that this X bar is similar to population mean, right? Right. So now we have to test that how true this solution is, right? So basically, suppose, yeah, so there are two ways of doing it, right? So one is known as interval estimation, right? Interval estimation. So okay, let me put the second one as well, right? So second is marginal error. Okay. Now uh, interval estimation, uh, or you can say confidence confidence interval. Okay. So now again focus on this problem, right? I got average of samples, and I got like I have to say that whether this average of sample will be a representation of the population or not, right? So so definitely like average of sample will not be exactly equal to population mean, right? So now what we have to give a confidence interval, right? So what I can say that maybe X bar plus, let's say I am just adding some error value, right? Or X bar plus minus is error value. So these are the two values, right? I'll take the example also, but like these two values are which one? X bar minus eta, like a small difference, right? And X bar plus eta, right? And my mu value, like population mean, lies between these two values. Okay. So basically, instead of giving a point estimate, what we are giving is a interval estimate, right? So we were talking till now, we were talking about point estimate, but now we are talking about interval estimate, right? So instead of giving this point estimate, we will be giving an interval estimate. We will say that your population will lie between these two values, right? So instead of telling that your population is X bar, we'll say that your population lies between, like not population, but mean of population will lie between X bar minus eta and X bar plus eta, right? So this is known as interval estimates, and this is known as upper confidence limit. This is so this is or this is known as interval estimation, or also known as confidence interval. Like how confident I am that like the point will be lying between these two values, right? So this is known as upper estimate or upper confidence limit, right? And this one is known as lower confidence limit. Lower confidence limit, right? And this value between these and these, this is known as interval estimate, right? Now let me put it once again. So we have some estimate here, we have one here, we have upper limit and lower limit. So let's say upper limit is x plus sorry, x minus eta, and up, upper limit is x plus eta, right? So we said that this is a interval estimate, and we also says this as to be confidence interval. Confidence interval. Now let me define what is confidence interval. So confidence interval is the measure of your confidence that the interval estimate contains the population mean, right? So we have this upper limits, lower limits, and then we have mean value mu, right? So what confidence interval says is like how confident you are that lies between these two values, right? So when I say 95% confidence, what does it mean? It means that if I have 100 values of mu, right, and which is basically x bar, right? If I calculate 100 values of x bar, right? So out of 100, 95% times this value will be within this interval, right? So what we are doing, we are earlier we were calculating point estimate, right? And now we are giving interval estimate. Okay. So and basically if our so statisticians use this confidence interval to uh, so basically to estimate population mean, or to estimate population parameters. What we are doing is we are estimating population parameters, estimating population parameters, right, based on sample parameters, sample parameters, right? So what statisticians will do, like they will see that if we are 95% confident that my population mean will be lying between this interval estimate, then I am okay with the I'm okay, like I'm 95% confident and uh, uh, I can accept that hypothesis, right? Like my hypothesis is that mu is equals to this value, right? Right. So if it lies between 95% of this, then I am okay with that. But if it is like 90%, like I am 95% confident only, then I will reject this. Like I will not use this method of estimation. I'll say that this measurement is faulty. I'll say that my sample S is not representation of population P. Okay. So this is how we'll use confidence intervals, right? Okay. And So we were talking about this confidence interval. So this is also, as I was saying, that this is how we are calculating it. Like out of 100, how many times this mu value will be within this x bar minus c and x bar plus c, right? So this is also known as probability, right? So if you heard about p value, right? So this is what we are talking about, right? P value is the probability of finding population mean within these ranges. Okay. Now, so I was talking about these errors, right? So these errors are known as margin of error. Okay. Margin of error, right? Okay. So, uh, okay. So, what is sampling error, right? So, sampling error is the difference between point estimate and actual population parameter, right? So point estimate, what is the point estimate? X bar, right? And what is the actual population parameter? Mu, right? So this is known as sampling error, the difference between actual parameter and the difference between uh, sampling the difference between actual parameter and the uh, point estimate. Okay, right? Okay, now uh, margin of error, let's say it is denoted by E. So let me put first formula. E is equals to ZC multiplied by standard deviation divided by number of observations, root of number of observations. Okay. Okay. And as I was saying that uh, margin of error is the uh, it will be defined as like for a given level of confidence, right? Like for example, we say 95% confidence. So for a given level of confidence, right? So for a given level of confidence, uh, the greatest possible distance between x bar and mu, right, is given by E, right? So let me put that what we are telling is like maximum of x bar minus mu, right? So basically when we'll be when we are doing point estimate, we will be taking different samples, right? Like lots of samples, and for all of these samples we'll be calculating x bar, right? And so for the maximum of x bar minus like the maximum of point estimate minus the population parameter will be equal to your margin error. Okay, margin of error, right? And margin of error is given by zc into sigma by standard deviation by root n, right? So uh, like for one standard deviation, like when sigma equals to 1, my e equals to zc by root n, right? So you can see that e is directly proportional to 1 by root n, right? So if the number of observations are more, your error will be less, right? And if the number of observations are less, your error will be, margin of error will be more. Okay. Now, how to calculate this uh, error, margin error, right? So, so uh, let's see, right? So what uh, we have a level of confidence C, right? Level of confidence, and this is level of confidence is the probability that the interval estimate contains the population parameter, right? Now, let's say population parameter is let's say somewhere population parameter is let's say x bar, right? And we are saying that this x bar is should be equal to population, right? Now we have uh, uh, so we have here x bar minus e and x bar plus e, right? X bar minus error and x bar plus error, right? Now uh, right, so suppose like this is a normal distribution, and let's say I am converting this to standard normal distribution, right? Standard normal distribution. So what standard normal distribution will have? It will have distribution. So it will have mean value as 0, right? So and like since I am transforming it, so basically I'll transform it with this formula x minus x bar minus mean by sigma, right? So uh, this will become like, instead of these values, what will have, what I will have now, z equals to 0, right? And let's say this is some zc, right? Zc means a constant value, right? And this is something let's say minus of zc, right? So now this confidence, the probability. So we had seen that C is the probability of a mu to be between these two ranges, right? So probability is the whole area, right? So if this is C and total area has to be 1, right? This area, this complete area has to be 1, right? This complete area has to be 1, right? So uh, how much will be this? This will be 1 minus C divided by 2, right? Because I have similar here as well, 1 minus C divided by 2, right? This one and this one, right? So these are my two areas, and ZC, so basically for a given confidence, ZC will be my critical values. Okay, so these are known as critical value values for a confidence C, right? Now for C equals to 95%, I'll have different ZC. For C equals to 90%, I'll have a different ZC, right? And similarly for C equals to 99%, right? So this critical values will be different. These will be both plus and minus values, right? And once we get that, we can calculate. Now we can calculate E equals to margin of error basically, and margin of error we can calculate as ZC sigma by root n. So I know number of observations, I know standard deviation, and with for a given C, like if C equals to 95%, I will know ZC as well. So based on that, I can calculate error of margin, right? And when I add error of margin to plus, like add it to X bar and X minus bar, I will get a range interval, basically interval, right? So this is how we'll calculate interval estimates. Okay. So for a standard normal distribution, right? Like uh, for a confidence of C equals to 90%, ZC is equals to 1.645. Okay. So uh, like now based on these values, I can calculate E values, right? Uh, like margin of error. So like let's say if my AN is 100, right, and I am looking for 90% confidence, my ZC is 1.645, right, 1.645, and my standard deviation, right, I am looking for standard normal distribution. So let's say if for a standard deviation of sigma equals to 1, right, I'll have 1.645 divided by root of 100, right? So basically E will be equal to 16. Okay. Yeah. So this was uh, this was about uh, a margin error, and previous to that we calculated interval estimates, right? So I'll end this session here. If you have any particular questions, I can address them, uh, or like you can write those questions to me, and I can take it up in the next session. Okay, so next session will be the final session about hypothesis testing, uh, and yeah, and uh, yeah, if there are any questions related to this all statistics and probability, I can take these questions as well into my last session tomorrow. Okay. So this was as I was talking about, like this is the basics of statistics and probability which you will be needing in a data science project or data science job profile. Okay. So these are all basics. After that you have to like you may have to go deeper into each topic based on your requirement. Okay. Yeah. So uh, so I'll end this session here, uh, assuming that there are no questions. Uh, And if you have any question, please do write me. I'll get back to you either on WhatsApp or I will take it up in this session. So thanks all for attending the session, and we'll meet tomorrow.